Hello there, pints and nutmegs, and it's been a while. Obviously, there's been a lot to talk about. Let me just firstly pour this. Not the conventional ways to do it, but it's another cruise campo as normal. Let's just get this. It's obviously not going to be a full pint. Wow, that's coming out quite fast. What the hell? Well, I'm not going to open another one. So, cheers. Thought I'd leave the summer for most of the transfers to get done up until build up to the window after Community Shield and see how the season goes from there. Um, Obviously, being an Arsenal fan, I can talk about our pre-season, and I, it's the same as it always is. Last year, we lost to Tottenham and Villarreal. We beat Athletic Bilbao. Yeah, I don't know. I'm questioning. I went to that game. Um, this season, we lost two games in pre-season. We beat Girona, the first one of the first friendlies. Drew to Como in our last friendly. I was at that game as well. Um, Preseason's not really anything to write about. It's more about the minutes. It's more about the fitness of the players. In regards to Arsenal, people were trying to get onto us, and some of our fans were being a certain way. But if you look to a retrospect, like in terms of the World Cup, there was a lot of kids, there was a lot of B team and C team players that you know Arteta wouldn't put all those 11 players into a starting 11 for a competitive fixture. Also, that's the other side of it. Like when the game's more competitive, the players step it up more as well. If you move on to the Community Shield, I always said it wasn't about the result; it was about the performance, and it'll show a like a state of intent, a statement of intent, and like how we're going to play that season. And it's not like that's going to be it. Like we'll run away with the league, but it's going to be how he intends to play in the coming season, sort of. So from what I see, we had the defensive structure. Every time City had the ball, the players got back into their positions quick, and they made it hard. They nullified City in that retrospect. When they had the ball, they were quick, they were direct, they were getting at them, and he got the balance right in terms of the attacking and the defensive side of the game. I think that's going to be now how we go into the season in terms of how we play. So this is something I've been saying that like obviously the first title, like the first league is the hardest league to win. He played good football a couple of years ago, couldn't get over the line. Last season it weren't the best football, it was more defensively structured, got over the line from it. But now he's got that balance from what I've seen. If we go into the season how we played in that game, then yeah, he's got the balance right. He's got the fluid attacking football and he's got the defensive structure. So it's exciting stuff. I'll talk about predictions as well. I'm just going to go through transfers like through the Premier League teams. So in terms of Arsenal, it's not a lot of business. Bruno G came in, and you can see he's already been a great addition. We know how class he is. Nketiah came on a permanent because he was on loan. We brought in Christos Tzolis. I'm, I reckon he's going to get 20 goals and assists all competitions this year. I think you can see he's stepped in and he's just straight up a great replacement for Trossard. He's providing in every game. He's intelligent. He might not do all your little fancy flicks and tricks, but the way he plays is intelligent. The way he finds players in the box. Melier on a free. Obviously, we've got that issue with Kepa. He's not the best. Let's be honest. He really isn't. In terms of outgoings, obviously Kivior went to Porto on a permanent. We sold Trossard to Besiktas, sold Norgard to Everton, and then the rest were our youngsters like either released or out on loan. Um, there's none there really to rave about. Aston Villa, they got Manzambi from Freiburg, who obviously Newcastle showed interest in, so that was a good addition. João Gomez from Wolves, another good addition. They got that Japanese keeper, I think, coming in, Suzuki, which that looks like then we know that Martinez ain't going to be number one, or he's going to force a move or try to. Garnacho on loan. Yeah, I think there was better options, but they did what they did. Morgan Rogers went out, obviously for a big fee. Yuri Tillmans went out. They got rid of Daniel Marlon. Lucas Digne went to PSG, which I don't think he was happy about. There's some I'll talk about because they've gone to other Premier League clubs. It makes more sense. Bournemouth surprised me. They brought in Antonio Silva from Benfica, quality defender, only 22 years of age. Really, really good signing. Alvaro Rodriguez has been making a lot of noise. Juan Luis Sanchez as well. So some good signings for them to bolster their team, considering they done alright last year and then further improved their squad. They've got rid of Unal, Sinistera, Hamid Traore. None of the others are worth really noting. Brentford have brought in Mamadou Sangare from Lens, Jadon Anthony from Burnley, Yannick Schuster from Salzburg. They released... Oh no, they brought in Callum Wilson on a free as well because he's left West Ham. In terms of their outgoings, the biggest one is Frank Onyeka, who's gone to Coventry. Jordan Henderson, who's gone Chelsea on a free. And that's really it. Brighton, some big additions. Luka Vuskovic for 50 million. I don't understand why Tottenham let him go. He was the bright young talent that they've been raving about. I think they wanted to keep him, but business is business. They brought in Zadok Johanna from AIK, which I don't know anything about him, so I can't comment. Stewart from Leeds, good, centre-back, experienced centre-back. Costina, again, don't know anything about him. Or some of these other players, but obviously they have a very well-renowned scouting network. Obviously their biggest one was Jean-Paul Van Hecker going Tottenham. Carl Rushworth's gone Coventry. Coppola's gone to Paris FC. Danny Welbeck to Chelsea. Jeremy Sarmiento went Borough. Bonanonte went on loan. And Veltman's joined West Ham on a free. Obviously, that's good for West Ham, bolstering their defensive positions. Chelsea, they spent 117 on Morgan Rogers, which is ridiculous. He's not worth it. And in terms of where they want to play him, it's going to be depending on how Xabi Alonso sets up. People seem to have this idea of they think they know how he's going to, but obviously his time at Leverkusen, he played with three at the back, two wing backs. Is he going to translate that into the Prem? I don't really know how he played with Real Madrid. He didn't last long enough at Madrid. Maxence Lacroix, again, 51 million. That's a big, hefty fee. Quenda, but he was already pre-signed. Palestra, 43 million. Chavaria for 16. They got Valentin Barco, Danny Welbeck, Jordan Henderson. Bless me. They did sell Marcus Cucurella to Madrid. They did sell Andre Santos to Man United. They did sell Trevor Chalobah to Como, Tyreek George to Everton. But in terms of what they've spent and what they've made, they're still in the red there. And I know they need to sell more. Coventry, they've been very active this window. They've got Caleb Urenki from Nordsjælland, Carl Rushworth from Brighton, Loom Chuana from Burnley, I don't know how you say his name, Aurele Amanda from Frankfurt, Owoniyi from Nottingham Forest, Gustavo Hamers returned back from Sheffield. Onyeka from Brentford. In terms of outgoings, there's nothing of note there. Crystal Palace, this is some weird ones. They brought in Dwight McNeil with Everton on a swap because they swapped Brennan Johnson to go the other way. They brought in Oscar Mingueza on a free, Tomiyasu on a free. They've loaned in Gessend. Obviously, the biggest outgoings were Lacroix to Chelsea 51 million and the swap deal with Brennan Johnson. Everton. We brought in Hayden Hackney from Middlesbrough, which was a good signing. Tyreek George, good signing. Merlin Roll on a permanent, I think he was on loan. Christian Norgard and Brennan Johnson. They've bolstered their midfield. They've got another couple of attacking players. I think the defence is a little bit light. So we'll have to see if they keep active. Fulham have been interesting. They brought in Shea Charles, Cesar Palacios, Gonzalo Garcia and Jonah Kusi Asari. So they've bolstered in 2 new attackers and 2 midfielders. They've brought in, they sold Saskia Lukic, Issa Diop. Obviously, Raul Jimenez left on a free. Harry Wilson left on a free. Hull. They've brought in Joel Gelhart, Duaf, Jack Butland. Didn't realise that he joined. They brought in Jens Hierto Dahl, which is going to be a good player for them. Konstantinos Zoulakis from Olympiacos, a goalkeeper, won their record fees. Noble Mendy then broke that fee a couple of days later. They brought in Elliot Stroud as a striker. So they've been active. There's not really much of note in outgoings. Ipswich have also been very active. They brought in Abdul Utara from Strasbourg and Ciso from Strasbourg, Emerson from Toulouse, Fatawu from Leicester, Florentino from Burnley, Kjell Sherpen from Union St. Gilloise, Dyson Maeda from Celtic, Lukic from Fulham, Diop from Fulham, Chuba Akpom from Ajax, Kane van Ovalen from Voldenham. So they've really spent and they've really boosted their numbers. Whether it's going to be enough for them to stay up, we'll have to see. Muric is their biggest outgoing to Sassuolo. Leeds, they bought James Trafford from Man City. I don't understand why Man City let him go. Harry Wilson on a free. Muharemovic from Sassuolo, which I don't know anything about him. We spoke about their outgoings already. Liverpool, they brought in Jeremy Jacquet, Victor Munoz, Arojo on loan, and they're getting Mbaye, as I've read today, Ibrahim Mbaye from PSG. So that's another winging option. So they just need number 6 and possibly a right back to be able to do okay in the league, in terms of competing. Outgoings, obviously Salah went on a free, Robertson went on a free, Konate went on a free. So they haven't really sold anyone. Man City, they brought in Elliot Anderson, Jeremy Monga, Piers Charles, Geronimo Rulli, and then it looks like they're going to get Buadi. We'll talk about the James Trafford one now. It does, to me, it doesn't make sense. For me, he was stepping into that realm of competing for number 1. I don't care that they spent that money on Donnarumma. Donnarumma just isn't good enough. He showed that in the Community Shield. He showed that throughout last season. Trafford's more steady between the sticks. He's knocking on the door to be number 1. Maybe they'll end up buying him back a second time later down the line. I don't know. I mean, especially being homegrown and everything, it just didn't make sense. Obviously, Nathan Ake went to Fenerbahce. Regan Heskey went to Cologne. Akanji went to Inter Milan. John Stones and Bernardo Silva went on a free to Inter Milan and Real Madrid. They're still struggling with Calvin Phillips, who's joined Sheffield United on loan. Manchester United brought in Andre Santos, 50 million. I don't understand that one, but yeah. Yuri Tielemans, Cole Darlow, and then some youngsters. Obviously, they sold Rasmus Højlund, they sold Vitek to Borough, and the rest are either frees or loans. Newcastle brought in Bazumana Toure, Bamba, They obviously not long got Dedic. They got Hornacek, Sean Stour, Ewan Jowan from Reims, and Dedic, yeah. So they're adding some depth. Whether it's going to be good enough is a different question. They had some big outgoings in Sandro Tonali, Bruno G, Anthony Gordon. Forest, their biggest signing so far is Usman Dumande. Schläger on a free. But other than that, there's nothing really of note. Obviously, their outgoings Elliot Anderson and Awoniyi. A few others that are free. Sunderland, they brought in Thomas Mounier on a free. I mean, they've sold Maenda to Rennes, they've sold Patterson to Wrexham. They've not really been overly active. Tottenham had a busy window early on with Sandro Tonali, Mateus Fernandes, Van Hecke, Dubravka, Andy Robertson, Senesi. I'm flying through them and we'll talk more. Obviously, they sold Spence, but now, like, I don't understand because they haven't got fullback either side cover. When sold Christian Romero, we kind of knew that was happening. Vuskovic, Will Lancashire, and Ashley Phillips. But the Lancashire one, I think a lot of their fans really liked him. Veliz has finally gone to Bahia. Obviously, he was never really getting a chance. Solomon has gone to West Ham. There's obviously a lot of controversy around that, being where he's from. Alfie Devine has gone now to Preston. And that's it from what I'm seeing in front of me. Is that every club? Oh, I felt like a flow through those then. But in terms of what I see, like, and what I've seen pre-season and what I'm thinking is, just bear with me, sorry. It's going to be hard to call. My prediction is Arsenal win the league again. You can tell you're biased. You're an Arsenal fan, but this is the realms of it. Arteta, the Big Six, is the most experienced manager of the Big Six. They just came off the back of winning the league with what we'd say is probably the best defence in the world. Unbiased, it's factual. In terms of what we've seen, they've conceded the least amongst all the European competitions and teams and everything else. You know, and you go player for player, Timber's better than most right backs, Saliba and Gabriel Renauna's the best two centre backs, Ray is the best keeper. Obviously, you know, there's that whole thing with Calafiori or Hincapié. Maybe some other left backs are better. But in terms of across the board, it's the best defence, and it won us the league. The midfield is obviously very solid. Then we've added Bruno G into that, and he's a class midfielder. Everyone has always said how good he is, and he's stepping into a team like Arsenal next to Rice or next to Miles Skelly. Zubimendi will still play and get minutes, but it's less pressure on him as well. You've got a lot of depth there. Even Mikel Merino, for example, that guy can just play everywhere. Yeah, so in terms of that structure, obviously we can see it, we saw it. And then people knock the attack, but we see the attack and what it can do when the players are fit and when it's more direct. It's more effective. I'm not sure who's going to start over Gyökeres or Havertz. For me, I think Havertz is better in his hold-up play. And I think he links up with the attacking players. The way he drops deep as a false nine and then plays next to the number 10, offers the option and then runs in behind as well. Or the wingers, he plays them in and still gets himself into dangerous positions, or he creates goals for himself. He's more effective than Gyökeres in that term. Obviously, the window's still open until the 1st of September. Anything can happen. It looked like we might get rid of Martinelli, we might get rid of Nwaneri. We'll have to see what happens. Yeah, so I think we win the league. I think Man City will be second. They've got, again, when it comes to depth, they're the next best team with depth. It might be Maresca's first season, but with that squad quality, eventually the quality should outshine over the others. I think third will be Manchester United. It's just about whether Carrick can cope in the four competitions. I think his experience in managing the Prem kind of comes into play because I know he's not done it long term, but he's done it over two stints. He's got more experience than the others at that higher level. Fourth would be a battle, in my eyes, at the minute between Tottenham and Chelsea. Yeah, it's just about whoever can outperform the other on a consistent basis, which then would mean like fifth place would be the other team, sixth then would be Liverpool, which is probably going to upset some Liverpool fans. But in terms of what I'm seeing at the minute, you still don't have number six. They still don't have a competent right back as such. Like Frimpong is more of a wing back than he's a right back. Unless Irio's got another way of playing. I think Wirtz will come good this year. I think he will be absolutely quality. There's nothing against Liverpool because their attack is still good. Like in terms, you got Isak, you got Ekitike to come back, but the wings just look a bit light. Okay, you got Munoz, you got Cody Gakpo, Rio and Gamora. You got the Simbay kid coming in, but like compared to the other teams, I don't think that's threatening as much. Um, yeah, so we'll have to see what happens there. Talk about relegations. I think it's a given that Ipswich and who's the other team that came? Ipswich and Hull go down. Um, the next team to go down, I can't call. At one point, I had Palace. I'm still on the fence about that. I still think that one could be quite possible. I think clubs are going to come knocking on the door for Adam Wharton soon. Palace have just come back from winning a European trophy and they've won an FA Cup, but I don't know. I'm unsure on them. I'm still not convinced. Mateta wanted to go. The then main striker Strand Larson. The wingers weren't really doing it last year. I am yet to be convinced. And obviously losing their manager as well. We'll have to see how well PSH does. But these are my predictions. I'm looking forward to kicking off on the Friday and seeing what that brings. And as I say, I'll be keeping up with the competitions across the board, all teams, like not just Arsenal, all competitions like the FA Cup, the League Cup, the Europa League, the Conference League, and the Champions League. Basically, I love football, so I watch. I watch Sky Sports. I watch and TNT. If it's on, I'll watch it. So obviously, when I do these videos, I'll be as neutral as I can, which I find that I am pretty level-headed with a lot of stuff. I might do one once the window video once the window's shut, but obviously I'm gonna do one weekly anyway. Moving forward from like just Monday every Monday. So anyway, we'll be talking about the weekend's actions and the coming week's actions through to the weekend. Um, Obviously, I haven't done one in a while. I had some stuff going, got that out of the way, sorting out my life a bit. And then aside from that, I just wanted to wait till we got nearer to this bit because I didn't want to do like an update over the last like 4 weeks and there's not too much to talk about. Um, Also, there might be a point, I'm not sure yet, where I could be going on holiday. I'm just waiting for some feedback on things. And if everything goes right, I could be going to New Zealand for only like a couple of weeks. But I'll obviously give anyone a heads up if that's happening when I know that's happening. I'm just waiting on like some information and then have to go from there with that. But yeah, so leave any comments. I appreciate any feedback, any input, your opinions. I'll push this out there more because obviously I've like took some time out from it, and I'm gonna get better with the editing. I know I've said this before. One of my friends is helping me. I've already got a new logo. I've got a new outro planned. I'm gonna get a new intro sorted and shortened down. So everything's coming. I'm just getting used to it. I'm just adapting. So obviously certain things I will get better with over time. and probably by the next video, the intro will be shorter, it'll be different, the outro will be different as well. But yeah, I'm obviously this is Pints and Nutmegs. I've been Craig, and eventually I should be having other people in with me. I'll probably do some Discord stuff, like, and have other people. So yeah, I appreciate everything. I appreciate any feedback, constructive criticism. Just let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yes, I'll put one up as of what's the date today? So it's the 18th of August. The next one will be on the 24th, which is next Monday. So that'll be after the Premier League's kicked off. And I'll see you then.